Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. So today I would like to explain on how I do the systematic literature review on the dynamic pruning approach in model-based test case generation to address state explosion problem. So basically, the main finding from my systematic literature review is basically there are no directly research paper that has connection between the extended finite state machine and dynamic pruning method, but the most closest thing that I can identify is the methodology that they use to address the state explosion, which is the state space reduction, but they are implemented in other models, not the extended finite state machine. For example, they will implemented in the UML, finite state machine, or PetriNet, and so on. Now, I would like to tell more details on how we do the methodologies for the systematic literature review. So we go to the section of the research method. Okay, basically, uh, we refer to the standards from the Software Engineering Group, School of Computer Science and Mathematics by Keele University, where they give a guideline on how to do the systematic literature review on the software engineering side. So basically, the protocol have three main process. One is planning, conducting, and reporting. So in planning, we have identified the needs for review, right? And then we specify the research question, which will I go later. And then from there, we develop the review protocol. And then from conducting, we identify the research. We try to find from the various electronic sources, and then we try to do the formulate search strings. And then after that, we going to select the primary studies that is relevant to our topics, where we exclude based on the title, abstract, and conclusion, and so on. And then we go to the assess the quality. Then we extract data and we synthesize the data. After conducting, we go to the reporting, where it is the phase where we want to specify the dissemination on the mechanism. And then lastly, we go to the main report. Okay, so now for the research question, we have two main question with sub question each of it. One is what is the current approach that is being used to address the state explosion problem in the model test case generation. So the sub question number one is how effective is the approach to address the state explosion. Number two, what are the limitations of the current approach? This is very important because we want to know the effectiveness of each method that already used in the software engineering to address the state explosion. Then comes to the second main question is how is the implementation of the dynamic pruning approach to address the state explosion problem in the model-based test case generation being used in the existing approach. So we want to know what is the current situation in dynamic pruning approach. Are they widely used nowadays, or they are very rarely used? Number two is what are the metrics is used to evaluate the effectiveness of the dynamic pruning approach. Number three, what is the tool used in the dynamic pruning approach? And number four is what is the data set used in the existing research. And lastly, does the dynamic pruning approach require any algorithm and tools? Alright. So after we answered all of the research question in this paper, we will go to the electronic sources selection, where we get the source. So usually we will go into the e-journals or online database like IEEE, Springer, Science Direct, Google Scholar, and Wiley. And most of it are from the conference paper and journals. How do we search the research paper? So we need to know the string formulation. Then we have to know the keywords and how to combine the search string for each of the website that is available for the e-journal. Like IEEE, we use three combination of search string, and then for Springer also we use a three combination of search string: Science Direct, Google Scholar, and also Wiley. The range of the year that we select is from 2000 and 2025. Okay, and most of the research that we get is mainly from IEEE, very less from other papers from other e-journal database like Springer, Science Direct. Okay, so at first we filter out the paper from IEEE's 101, Springer 12 paper, Science Direct 25 papers, and Google Scholar 245 paper, and also Wiley 28 papers. But after we try to filter out with the overlap naming and the same paper from across database, the finalized total number of paper is only 60. Okay, after all the paper obtained from the search string, we go to the study quality assessment, where we want to make sure the paper that we choose are really related and relevant to our topic. So from there, we try to put some quality question that we want to filter. The question number one is, are the aim of the study relevant with the research topic? Question number two, the proposed methodology are clearly explained. Question number three, how effective is the proposed method? Question number four, are the procedure of the experiment well described? Number five, are the findings adequately summarized and related to the aims of the studies? And number six, usage of the valuation metrics to evaluate the performance. And lastly, number seven, are there threats to the validity of the results and finding? And bear in mind, every answers for the question that we want to filter, they have a score rating, because from the score rating we can measure their quality. So for example, if the number rating is 4, then it is acceptable as a high quality paper. So for us, we try to do the minimum 3.5 because we found out that there is not much paper related directly to the dynamic pruning approach and the extended finite state machine. So if we want to filter like very strict, we will not have much paper that we can studies, but at least we can relate the methodologies like state space reduction, heuristic method, and then the depth first search method to relate it with the dynamic pruning method for the extended finite state machine. Okay, for the maximum score for the research paper is 7, and then I said just now, the minimum score we accept is 3.5. Okay, and then here is the table that we tabulate the total number of score. Okay, and the highlighted green color is the selected one, which is 3.5 and above. Okay, so for now the data extraction, each of the data extraction, we have a few categories like particular of the study content, and then each of the data extracted, we will associate it with the research question, so that the extracted data will always align with the research question. Okay, so now for the result, this is how we try to simplify all of the findings that we get from the systematic literature review. So here we just list out, and then for the conclusion of the question number one, there are almost no paper that is directly related to the dynamic pruning approach on the extended finite state machine, but the methodology is there. Okay, so for the question number 2, we already found out the limitations that currently happening in the current methodologies, which is usually the high computational uh, consumption. And then the current situation of the dynamic pruning approach. Okay, and then the matrix evaluation. This is the statistic that we get from the evaluation. We found out there are 12 papers, or 16.7% from the 60, that use the same evaluation matrix for the finite state machine or extended finite state machine. But we also need to formulate some few simple mathematics to verify our own methodologies, whether it is performed at the good performance value or not. So for example, like the state coverage. So here, of course, this is the simple mathematics that we try to formulate, where every state cover must be divided by the total number of state and multiplied by 100%. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, now research question number 2, we list out the dynamic pruning approach tools that can be used. Okay, the data set, research question number 2.4. So basically, the data set for our case is not the database, but the model itself. Let's say a standard finite state machine or finite state machine. Okay, so we have the few examples from here. And then research question number 2.5. Does the dynamic pruning approach require any algorithm? Yes. This because based on the previous research and studies, every algorithm or methodologies require special algorithm and tools, because they want to try to do special methods that use mathematics and formula, so that involves a algorithm. So same also like dynamic pruning approach, it will need algorithm and special tools to execute the method. Okay, now threats to validity. During the review stage, of course, there are some threats to the validity of our finding. Number one is we may overlook the papers that is related directly to our issues, because we know that there are some papers is not written in English language. So maybe the related papers are written in other foreign languages. So that one is maybe a threat to our validation. The second validity is, of course, majority the paper that we found out, the positive result is always priority in the researcher's publication, right? So of course, it may be cause a bias to our findings. Okay, so that's why we try to do the study quality assessment to make sure our paper is relevant and quality as much as possible. And then lastly, the model details that were used in the research paper may not be enough for the studies, because in every methodologies that they use is they implemented in a different models. So we cannot compare side by side with the extended finite state machine that we want to focus on to the other models like UML, PetriNet, and etc., because they are very different. So every evaluation metrics or result that they get, they cannot directly implement it to the extended finite state machine. So this will cause threats to our finding invalidation. But that's why we also have the study quality assessment, where we want to filter out which is the most closest study that is related to the extended finite state machine and dynamic pruning methods. Okay, so conclusion and future recommendation, we try to see that every research should be much more diligent and put more details on how they do the methodologies or algorithm, because some of the papers that we found out is they didn't put the details of the algorithm and the experiment setup. So if they put more details, it will be helpful for other researcher who wants to study in other in this topic also. Okay, so basically that is how we do the systematic literature review. Okay, thank you.